Hello, everyone. Welcome to I Hate Bill Maher, special year-end highlights edition. I am your host, Will Weldon. Been your host all year. Just off the bat, just full disclosure, just to be fair here, if something odd has happened between December 7th and December 31st, when this is coming out, I want you to know I have recorded this on December 6th. So if you're having a moment where it's like, it's weird this guy isn't mentioning this, that's why I'm not mentioning it. For me, it hasn't happened yet. It's like that Dennis Quaid movie where he talks to his dad over the radio. I never saw it. I may be getting a lot of the details wrong. Maybe I've just made it up. I have divided this year's highlights into 6 categories. Also, these are highlights. These are highlights from things I've seen both myself and with other people on the show. This is not highlights from the show. This is not a clip show. I'm not playing you my clips from my show. I am playing you Bill Maher highlight clips from the year. I assure you, the other one would have been much more pleasant to gather, but here we are nonetheless. And as I mentioned, I've divided these into 6 different sort of sections, 6 groupings of clips. I'm not going to say them now. I'll let you discover them as I reveal them. But the first one we're going to be talking about, I was like, where do we start here? What's the thing we should start with? What's the thing with this guy people think of? And I was like, oh my God, of course. We got to start with creep shit. So these are some of the highlights of him being an absolute creep over the course of the year. First clip from this. This is him on Politically Incorrect. From an episode that John Gabris was on. This was fairly recent, is why I remember so many of the specifics. This is him complaining. Now, he brings this up. He's like, no, this was recorded at the Playboy Mansion. This is the year 2000. I believe it's from May. I believe he did a week of episodes at the Playboy Mansion. I can only find this one. And this is him bringing up a topic on the show, and it's clearly just something that recently happened to him that he wants to litigate on television.
If a guy flies a girl in for a date, is she obligated to sleep with him?
So that's the first question. And as you can imagine, everybody else says no, except I think maybe Carmen Electra, who has the stance of being like, well, what do you expect he wants? But all that be, so you'd think they'd say no, he would move on. Brother, he fucking hangs around this subject for so fucking long. He won't let it go. And if you're watching this, you get the full experience. I apologize for making this. It's probably better to watch some of these because some of them have some qualities that the eye is really enhanced by the visual experience. But it goes on for a while. His guest, so it's Hugh Hefner, far left. Directly to his left is Adam Carolla. Directly to his right is Bijou Phillips. Here's how he is with Bijou Phillips.
Isn't it kind of like the girl who went up to the hotel room with Mike Tyson? You know, it's like, aren't there certain things that you do as a woman where you're sort of saying, okay, we're going to have sex?
Okay, so I fucked that up. He hasn't gotten to the Bijou Phillips stuff yet. There he's still just being disgusting. And essentially being like, well, what did she expect going up to Mike Tyson's hotel room? Classic guy type of guy, I feel like, from the 2000s. Bad guy. Here is where he gets into it with Bijou Phillips.
I mean, I've flown guys in. Guys never fly me anywhere, but I've flown guys in.
So you would not believe the look on this guy's face right now. He is looking at her. It is so predatory the way he is looking at her as she is saying this.
And gotten laid, but just to get laid purely, like, that's the only reason I'd fly them in. But
Well, it's right talk to Daddy, honey. Daddy has a plan for you. Anyway,
Daddy has a plan for you, and if you're just listening, he grabs her around the shoulders and pulls her in towards him, which I would say she looks at least a little uncomfortable with. There's a lot. Man, I pulled a lot from this.
It's not the money.
And what if the woman says, you know what, I'm not going to sleep with you?
It's the effort. Well, it's that you're going across the continent for a date, and that implies that there's going to be a little more than just dinner and a movie.
He's so whiny. That's why I wanted to start this off. It's not only is this, opening up with, is a man not entitled to sex if he flies a woman somewhere? He fights with them for so long, and he is like whining like a baby. It is so clear that this just happened to him. And so he's gone on television to fucking piss and moan about it.
That's such a politically correct bunch of it should be discussed. People don't discuss sex beforehand. They just do it. If you discuss it beforehand, it ruins it.
That was not an uncommon idea back then, I would say. I did hear that a lot. But it is still, it just is like, it's the kind of stuff you hear and you go, fine, some of these attitudes were not uncommon back then, but like, why give a show to somebody for this kind of stuff who's just as stupid as everybody else? And also, I like kicking, I like taking shots at this guy, and this is repulsive. This is him at his most absolute repulsive. Real Time really cleaned up his reputation, I think. Politically incorrect, he is like a disgusting, perverted sleaze who like hates women.
True. That's true.
Thank you, Bijou.
That's completely true.
You made Daddy very proud.
There you go. You made Daddy very proud. He grabs her again, pulls her in again. She covers her face with her hair. Doesn't seem to. I mean, imagine treating your guests that way on television. It's like, first of all, it's just unprofessional. But that's like the low light. I guess I stacked that off the top in case it's like anybody is just checking this out randomly. I want you to see, it's not just going to be like, here he was saying that the Abraham Accords were discussed. No. I don't have to just be like, here's some things he got wrong. I don't know if there are any of those in here. Anyway, that's just the first clip from Creepshit. Here he is on, so here he is discussing with the Skinny Confidential. I don't know what the fuck this thing was when I started watching it. But they brought up the Golden Bachelor.
Golden Bachelorette. Or
That
Bachelor.
I would tune into. I told my friends this. If I could do a show where I was the Bachelor, but not with the age appropriate.
That's okay.
And it would be so much better and so much funny.
I bet that would be a hit.
Oh, a lot of them would be crying. No, I'm kidding. No, but it would be a funny show.
So why? That's like his first, and he goes, no, I'm kidding. I don't believe he is kidding. I think he would delight in making those young women cry, and just that's going to come up a few times throughout, particularly Creepshit, is the fact that he is proudly a 70-year-old man who is obsessed with very young women. Very, very young women. Like, check this shit out. This is from the Nelk Boys podcast.
You just, your cerebral cortex or whatever it is just still growing, especially men. Men just, one of the hardest things in society really is, no matter what age you live in, women just mature much, much sooner. Mm-hmm. And men, you literally, I think, need like a 40-year head start.
What do you mean?
So the look on the guy from the Nelk Boys, this is a Full Send podcast, is what it's called. The look on his face as he goes, what do you mean? These guys interviewed Benjamin Netanyahu, and to my knowledge, did not once react to anything he said or did with this same level of shock and growing horror.
I mean,
That
like
sounded a bit, yeah.
Like, if I would, hypothetically be going out with a 26-year-old, hypothetically, it would be the correct amount of time between us.
You'd need to be 66 to be the same maturity level?
Well, I'm 69, but, roughly, let's round down.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, you need a very, very, people are different, but to be like as mature as they are, even in their mid-20s, yes, you need, that's my experience, that you need to be way, way, way older.
What do I even have to add? Something like that. Here he is defending women teachers who have sexually abused their male students.
On a lighter note.
Okay. I'm being flippant when I say that. It's so much worse than that. This is his segue into this. This is from Real Time. This is from I think season 2 of Real Time, which would be 2004, late 2005.
Teachers are fucking their students.
So that's a segue into the topic.
But, of course, we all know about Mary Kay Letourneau, which was 10 years ago. And then maybe once or twice I heard about a similar situation in the last 10 years. Well, in the last 2 months...
She was a woman who had sex with a student,
yes,
was jailed, came out, had sex with him again, and now is going to marry him.
Yes, in her case, it turned out to be true love.
So he says that, and the crowd will kind of titter at it. He means it. He said it a bunch of times. He has defended Mary Kay Letourneau in the past. You can find clips of that on YouTube, him doing it back on, like, Politically Incorrect. I think, oh my God, the guy from Black Flag is kind of sitting there like, what am I doing here?
I don't know about... In the last 2 months, there have been, to our count, in newspapers across the country, 16 instances of female teachers having sex with their teenage boy students. So we made this deck of playing cards of the...
So they've made a deck of playing cards. He's going to explain it, but you're going to listen to them rate the attractiveness of... I can't believe I'm fucking saying this. Rate the attractiveness of the teachers, the female teachers who have been having sex with their male students. It's really, it's something else, man.
16. This is modeled after the Iraqi bad guy playing cards. Well, a lot of them are not so cute. Let me show you some of these, and you'll see what I mean. Some of them are not so cute. This is Margaret de Barracoa. She's not that bad. Listen to this.
She's all right.
She was accused of having sex with her students.
We'd all do her.
They're laughing at that because the panel is Richard Belzer, Andrew Breitbart, and a woman whose name I can't remember. She is the worst look I've ever seen in the world. But she is gay, is where that joke comes from. And she and Andrew Breitbart are high-fiving because at the time they were ideological allies because she was, I believe she is a former Muslim atheist who is a big Iraq war booster.
She was accused of having sex with her students in the front seat of her car while her 2-year-old was strapped in the back. And it was really confusing when the students started asking, who's your daddy?
And it was really confusing when the students started asking, who's your daddy?
You know,
I'm joking.
But I've always...
Here's another one. This is Pamela Turner, the 6 of Diamonds. She's actually cute. She could get a 9th grader. Deborah LaFave, the Jack of Spades. This is the one, I love this one, accused of making fun of the 14-year-old she was doing because he asked to use a condom. And she said, oh, you're being weird.
Don't get me wrong. If a male teacher does this to a young lady,
different.
Capital punishment.
Well, that's...
Actually, okay, so do you think there's a double standard?
So that was depraved. That whole bit. They are sitting there, oh, ho, ho. These women abused boys, abused children. Like, if these were priests, they would not be, oh, ho, ho, mm-hmm. But the woman on the panel, she's about to bring up a possible double standard here.
In terms of the public reaction as well.
Good point.
There should be a double standard because there are two sexes. Yes, a 35-year-old man with a 14-year-old girl can cause real damage. A 35-year-old woman with a 14-year-old boy can cause good esteem.
Absolutely insane. I mean, you know, he is a literal defender of pedophilia on his show right there. And he's, like I said, with Mary Kay Letourneau, he's done it a bunch of times in the past. Here he is, this next clip, Club Random with Brian Tyler Cohen. Listen to how he talks about Jeffrey Epstein.
That if I'm Epstein, who is, I said this on my show recently, if there's a guy who's like really rich and you're not quite sure how he got that rich, he doesn't seem to have any talents, he's a pimp. He's a pimp.
Okay.
There are guys like that.
Who are you referring to?
Epstein.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he's a pimp.
A pimp for kids.
Dude,
yeah.
I've known guys like this.
Yeah.
You're not going to believe. So obviously right there, it's like a pimp. This is like a bit of an odd way to talk about a guy like this who coerced a number of, like, you know, teenage girls, some young teenagers, coerced them, threats, you know, promises of power, literally just paying them to do it. into having sex with grown men, running a pedophilia ring. It's against the law, last time I checked. Listen to how he talks about this.
Pussy whisperers.
Calls Jeffrey Epstein a pussy whisperer.
That's what a pimp is, a pussy whisperer. Someone who can they just have this, I don't know what it is. I don't have it. I'm glad I don't have it. But they have an ability to talk women into anything. Like, even when it's not, the woman doesn't benefit that much. It's just an amazing skill that some guys have. That's who he was. He was a pimp.
So obviously Brian Tyler Cohen is a fucking coward and a worm, and he never really pushes back that hard. He just takes it from that guy the entire episode. He just fucking takes it from Bill Maher. It's an absolutely embarrassing, pathetic display from Brian Tyler Cohen. But he's a pussy whisperer. He can, the guy could just talk women into anything. We're not talking about women in a number of these instances. We're talking about girls. And even the adult women we're talking about, very young adults. And as I said, he wasn't talking them into it. Some of them he just straight up paid because they were desperate and needed the money. Some of them there were promises of career advancement. So literally they've talked about being threatened. The implied threats from Ghislaine Maxwell. And this guy, he really doesn't know anything about this. You can tell anytime he talks about it on the show. He has no clue any of the details. He doesn't fucking know anything. Watch his show. He's wrong almost wall to wall on the show. But to even just think well, this must be the case. It's a guy who's good at manipulating women. I shouldn't have started off with this category. It's actually chilling me to my bone going through this stuff. Here he is. He calls child pornography a thought crime.
To make an exception, this guy.
This from Real Time. This was also, I believe, season 2 or season 3.
Looks like just that big.
So he's talking about a Cub Scout leader. He shows a picture of a Boy Scout leader who was arrested for having. So I believe I looked it up. He was viewing and distributing child pornography. And this is how Bill Maher talks about it.
Sure, he must have been no. But here's the thing. Underage sex is completely vile. We all agree on that.
So again, he doesn't agree on that. He's lying. He thinks it's fine when it's an older woman with a boy.
I took R. Kelly right off my Christmas card list when that shit went down. But this guy is.
It's he's so homophobic. It's he is a pervert and he's also homophobe. So it's bad if it's an older man and a boy, an older man and a girl, but an older woman and a boy is fine. This is his logic.
Really being sent to jail for a thought crime, okay? It's not a good thing to do to look at pictures of boys, but it is. We have to pause here and say, okay, we are sending someone to jail for looking at pictures. He never tried to contact kids. He never gave them Jesus juice. He never said, I have a Ferris wheel at my house. He didn't do anything. It is a thought crime.
A thought crime. I mean, he's just completely forgotten the fact that there's a real child in those photos who has been abused. And by looking at them, it's this man is creating demand for it. As I said, I'm pretty sure he was also distributing them. He just doesn't think. This take is, of all of his takes, this one's maybe the most inexplicable of anything I'm going to talk about here. Because it's just if you put 3 seconds of thought into this, you'd be like, oh, well, of course this is wrong. But he didn't. Hey. So, and then this is the last one. This is from Club Random with Billy Corgan. They're talking about how there's, it's so easy to look at porn now.
I'm always been on the page, at least of the, look, I never even saw it on the computer until about, I would say, 5 or 6 years ago. I was a guy who grew up with magazines, and I was afraid to look at it because I was like, oh, what if they get a cookie in here, and what if they know what I'm doing, and what if they're really watching me? And, well, I got over that.
What if they know what I'm doing? Why is that such a concern for you? What if they put a cookie in my computer and find out I'm doing a thought crime? Okay. Now we're going on to chapter 2. This is failed humor attempts. So I'll say these are not jokes that bombed. It's difficult to bomb on your own TV show. I just think these are attempts at humor that I believe fail for whatever reason. So the first one, this isn't even necessarily a failed attempt at humor. This is just, to me, a real faux pas that I would definitely have been embarrassed to have done.
Today is Friday the 13th. Now, I am superstitious about this stuff, and apparently I'm not the only one, because down in Atlanta, Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston today accused someone of stepping on their crack.
Okay, so the joke is stupid, right? You know, stepping on your crack, mix your crack with bad stuff. But whatever. It's filled with stupid jokes. One, because it's his show. And two, because monologue jokes often are not fucking great. Like, it's a difficult thing to do. They don't tend to stand the test of time. That's not my problem here. My problem is what comes literally exactly 1 year later. I guess not exactly a year later, but comes on the next Friday the 13th. This happens.
How are you? It's Friday the 13th. Are you scared? Wow. Yeah, over at Whitney Houston's house, she and Bobby Brown called up their dealer and they said, please, on this one day, don't step on the crack.
To do the same joke that is not even very good. How does that slip through the cracks? The cracks that have been stepped on. So here is a really ungodly... This segue into the mid-show comedy bit from this episode is... don't do this.
But okay, let me interrupt to bring the feel shit story of the week. A man in Texas shot his fiancée, who was Mexican-born, and before he did, he Googled, "Can I kill an illegal human?" And we thought this would be a good time to do one of our departments that we do from time to time called Revealing Google Search.
Okay, so he uses that to go into the mid-show comedy bit. A man who murdered his fiancée for being Mexican. Right there, that's bad enough. Imagine you die. You're murdered. You are a victim of femicide, intimate partner violence. Horrific, horrifying. It's not enough that that happens to you, and that you are then used to segue into, this is from Real Time, this is from over this last year, a horrible episode of television. The show is unwatchable now. Listen to the jingle.
Because... thing is,
you die, and this is the legacy of your death.
Because
boom, 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 boom. An entire family wiped out today as a man who was getting divorced by his wife arrived and gunned them all down. Boom, 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 boom. This is so inhuman. This is insane that they did that. So this next one, this is from his most recent stand-up comedy special. He says it may be his last. He also says it's the best one he ever did. It's so much worse than you could possibly imagine. Okay.
The fact that I can travel this country now without sweating bullets like I did for years and years, worrying that the fucking dog at the airport was going to narc me out because he found a roach in my shaving kit or something. I swear to God, for years, this is how I traveled. I took this much pot and I put it in Kleenex in a ball and hid it under my nuts. I swear to God I did that. I smoked my own ball sweat for like 30 years on the road, and now I don't have to. Progress. I remember the first time I went to a legal dispensary after so many years of being furtive about this shit, I was like literally emotional. Really, I remember saying to the guy, "Thank you. Thank you for opening this place and making me feel like a free citizen whose participation in our hallowed democracy is now more complete." And he said, "Sir, this is a Baskin-Robbins."
He did a "Sir, this is a Wendy's" joke on his special. He changed it to Baskin Robbins so that you wouldn't notice he is just stealing a meme and putting it on his special. Baskin Robbins is longer, more unwieldy. It makes the joke works worse because Wendy's is good because you get Wendy's out the quickest. And on top of that, he fucked the joke up because he said he went into a dispensary, said all that, and then the guy went, "Sir, this is a Baskin Robbins." Well, you fucked it all up because you said you were at a dispensary. That fucks the whole joke up. Anyway, and just this last one, this is just one of those things where it's like, what is this joke?
New rule. If you need to shave and you still collect baseball cards, you're gay. If you're a kid, the cards are keepsakes of your idols. If you're a grown man, they're pictures of men.
They're pictures of men. Am I gay for my dad or my brother? I have photos of them in my home. And this guy was like, back then considered like a top tier straight ally because he, was admittedly very, very pro-gay marriage. And this is what you had. You had that, and then you also, your allies were a guy who's like, I'm pro-gay marriage. But also, if you look at men, you're fucking gay, dude. Okay, so this next category, this is baffling moments. So this is, the first one is going to be a new rule. It's from an episode of Real Time from this season. It's just like, it's so cumbersome, man.
New rule, the French woman who was scammed by someone who used AI to convince her that Brad Pitt was in love with her. But that Brad needed money for kidney surgery because Angelina had frozen all of his assets. So she gave him $850,000 and divorced her husband. This lady must now be set up on a date with the real Brad Pitt.
That sentence is insane. That is the most unwieldy sentence. Also, as comes up so frequently on the show, not a rule. That's just not a rule. Let's go with the real Brad Pitt. It's just like, and he's got a joke that kind of wraps it up at the end. I didn't include literally the entire thing, but oh my God. That's fucking crazy. Like to just essentially read an entire newspaper article about this story. Please, man. Like, that one really bothered me all year. Here he is saying something he thinks makes, this is from the episode he did talking about his dinner with Trump. He thinks this makes Trump seem really cool and reasonable and doesn't realize that he's just like, here is me getting owned by my own hand as ruthlessly as possible.
Before I left for the Capitol, I had my staff collect and print out this list of almost 60 different insulting epithets that the president has said about me. Things like stupid, dummy, lowlife dummy, sleazebag, sick, sad, stone cold crazy. Really a dumb guy, fired like a dog, his show is dead. There's 60. I brought this to the White House because I wanted him to sign it, which he did.
And the crowd being like, yeah, woohoo, that's so cool. I to this day do not know what to say about this too. And he's so proud of it. He'll show it off to people on Club Random. And it's like, what's cool about this, man? You show up to this guy's house, you're like, here are all the times you insulted me, sir. And the guy's like, yeah, it looks good. Let me just give that the old John Hancock. There you go. These are all the horrible things I've said. Like, why don't you say, have a list of both sides of the insults and then you both sign them? That would be a little more normal. But like, the guy's just excited to, hey, he's like, oh my God, I've been talking about the president. I got to get him to sign this. So This next clip, this is from after the DNC in 2004. Andre 3000 from Outkast did a documentary about voting for the first time and getting people out to vote. I guess this could have ended up in the next section, actually, this clip. Whatever. Here, Bill Maher has been talking to him about this, and then they come around to the topic of Al Sharpton at the DNC.
I watched the Reverend Al's speech the other night, and I've never seen anybody as disrespected as Al Sharpton is disrespected, not only by the Democratic Party, but by the media. They cut him off, and CSNBC cut him off. Chris Matthews cut him off and said, you have to remember, this man basically began his career, as charming as he is, on a lie. Is that racism? Because I certainly could say that about a lot of other politicians.
Yeah, sure enough.
And last night, after Kerry finished his speech and everybody comes on the podium, one of the network anchors said, and the Reverend Al Sharpton has somehow found his way onto the podium.
He's a great speaker. He's powerful, man.
Yeah. So what is your take on these people going nuts when he went over a few minutes? A lot of people go over a few minutes. What does that mean? He somehow found his way onto the... Well, he spoke 20 minutes. He's supposed to speak 6. So he went over...
14.
He was on CPT. Excuse me, but this happens.
Yeah, he was feeling it, and I guess you can't stop him when you're feeling it.
But, I mean, are you angry at the way people have treated this man? Because I just don't think they would do that to a white politician.
Yeah, I guess I'm pretty upset about that.
So he is, for whatever reason, he's trying to be like, look, I'm one of the good ones here. Andre 3000 does not care, is not interested in this. Andre 3000 is also not a guy, it seems like, it's not a guy where you're like, you see that video of Andre 3000 all worked up the other day? He's trying to get him worked up about this, and in the process, makes his own racist joke. Really, and Andre 3000 is just like, whatever, man. Leave me alone. Now, this next one, listen, he loves to say he's not anti-vax. He'll say, I'm not anti-vax. There are vaccines I'd fight you for to be the first one to get it. He never says what they would be for. He also will go, they've been saying about this to me forever. They used to say, oh, he's anti-vax. I was never anti-vax. Listen to this shit.
I don't believe in vaccination either.
I don't believe in vaccination either.
That's another theory that I think is flawed, and that we go by the Louis Pasteur theory, even though Louis Pasteur renounced it on his own deathbed and said Beauchamp was right. It's not the invading germs, it's the terrain. It's not the mosquitoes, it's the swamp that they're breeding in.
He does not believe in germ theory. People, sometimes people give me a crazy look when they hear about what I'm up to, what this show is, what I spend some of my time doing. But then he was going on TV in 2004. That was real time. Panelists were Janet Reno, Dave Foley, and I can't remember the other lady. She was, I think, like the head of the Red Cross or something. But and then goes, I don't believe in germ theory, says something that is so clearly wrong, false. Well, Louis Pasteur renounced germ theory on his deathbed. Okay, according to whom? Another psycho like you who doesn't believe in any of this shit? And I said this on the episode with Jono, but it's like, who cares if he renounced it on his deathbed? It's like, who knows the things I'll renounce when I've got fucking DMT fucking surging through my brain? And literally going on, not only am I anti-vax, I am anti-germ theory. Beauchamp was right. It's, this is a source of a lot of my frustration with this guy is moments like this, where there's seemingly... he has never been confronted to his face. Not just all the times he's been wrong, all the times he's been catastrophically, humiliatingly wrong. And now here's his last one. This is from Club Random with Billy Joel.
So I always wondered about something like that. Do I have that self-destructive tendency?
Well, you almost died 3 times. There was the motorcycle crash, Then there was like, well, you know what? Those early ones, I had the same, I'm going to kill myself when I was 19 years old. If I could have gotten laid once at Cornell.
You probably would have been better off.
Are you kidding? My depression would have lifted, and I would not be suicidal.
So he's talking to Billy Joel, a guy famously very difficult childhood, who made a number of like genuine suicide attempts. And they start to talk about it, and then Bill Maher can't keep talking about Billy Joel. Billy Joel's like, I always thought I had this thing inside me where I'm like, am I self-destructive? Am I trying to hurt myself? And Bill Maher's like, I was suicidal, but like if I had just gotten a little pussy in college, I think that suicide would have cleared right up. And Billy Joel does a fucking... That's... The Billy Joel Club Random is funny because Billy Joel does not give a fuck the whole time. The only time he gets a little uncomfortable is when Bill Maher starts talking about his the pedophile song he tried to write during COVID. And I could have included that clip. That was the clip that went around the most. And to be fair, that's the craziest clip from that episode. But a lot of people saw it. It's come up so much. Other people talked about it after it happened. I talked about it on the episode with Al Worth. It's just, I just wanted to highlight that moment because that moment is all the song he was trying to write. The World Makes You Lie. That was fucking crazy, dude. This moment is just like, it's just funny to say that. Like, Billy Joel, maybe if you'd gotten some ass, you wouldn't have been suicidal. I bet Billy Joel was getting ass. So next, now we're shuffling into category 4. This is embarrassing moments. This is from Club Random with Kid Rock.
When I had my first love when I was 16, and that people say you never forget your first love. It's so true. And you also never forget when you get dumped by her. Because nothing ever hurts as much. Because it's the first one and you didn't see it coming and,
What a charmed life you must have led, where nothing has hurt you as much as getting dumped by your first love. And to still be talking about it. I really want to emphasize, this guy's 69 years old. He's like a 70-year-old man. And he is sitting in the basement of his second house that he only owns so that he can throw parties in it with his buddy Kid Rock. His genuine buddy, they're friends. With his buddy Kid Rock. And he's like, nothing's ever as painful as when your first love breaks up with you. Yes. Yes, other things are. Other things are so much fucking worse than that. What a remarkable... It's humiliating. And it just betrays the fact that this guy doesn't have real problems. If you'd had real problems, you wouldn't be talking like that. Anyway, here he is. This is back from Real Time again. This is around the same time as the Andre 3000 one. He has Drew Barrymore on his show, and he yells at her because she also made it. It's interesting the difference in reaction he had to Andre 3000's documentary about voting for the first time and Drew Barrymore's documentary about voting for the first time.
To find someone that represents who you think you are, it becomes a much more personal, sacred, beautiful, empowering ritual than becoming daunted by the highfalutin, alienating world of politics.
You have been watching way too much Oprah. You know what? Excuse me, but it is not about you and feeling good about yourself. It is about something bigger in the country, and that is why we can't get kids in the voting booth or to care. Don't you think that voting is a symptom of a bigger problem? Which is that, A, kids aren't educated, they're not informed, and they don't care. Nobody has ever told this generation that there is something bigger than you and yourself and how you feel. I didn't mean to yell at her, but when she started with that...
finally got her on and you jumped her.
I'm sorry, but I can't take that talk about, it's got to be all about... Yeah, come on.
So, I edited out a lot of stuff because I'm not going to play a fucking 6-minute clip of him being like, listen, stupid. He apologized to her like 20 years later when she was on Club Random for the way he treated her. And it's just so embarrassing and so emblematic of his own beliefs. Neither Andre 3000 nor Drew Barrymore had voted before. That was kind of the points of their documentary. And like the difference in the way he spoke to them is fucking crazy, man. This guy's issues with women are out of fucking control. And now he's like, oh, that's the problem with your generation. Now he's like, fucking Gen X. They're the last sane generation. He just like hates young people and he hates women. Brother, he fucking hates women. Hates them so much. She's really taken aback. And it's also like the idea too, he's like, it's supposed to be about something bigger than yourself. Buddy, it's your fucking job to talk about politics. This is not bigger than you. This is your livelihood. You're paid to do this. Don't act like, oh, these kids who can't follow, my generation gets it right. We care. It's your fucking job, man. Here's an incredibly weird ad read he did on Club Random from, I think, Winston Marshall.
Hey, do you want a little more random in your life? Go to our
He's so fucking drunk, man.
Online merch store. Look at me, whore. At clubrandom.com and get some Club Random merch, whore. We've got great fitting, it is, premium hoodies. Look, hoodie, t-shirts. Where does whore hold this up? Okay.
He's holding it upside down, blocking his face.
T-shirts. It's upside down. And ringers, all super soft and printed with high-quality inks. I would not allow my audience less quality inks than high. We've also got stuff to elevate your bar. Wow, with Club Random mugs, tumblers, and decanters for your spirit of choice, or for sparkling water like me. Then you can add your Jing drops, and everyone can ask you what you're dosing yourself with. It's the gift that keeps on giving. All of our merch is available exclusively at clubrandom.com. While you're there, you can catch up on all of our recent episodes and then head over to the merch store to pick up some swag and bring some random home. Once again, that's clubrandom.com.whore. No, not the .whore part, just clubrandom.com.
That's the weirdest shit. To be like, I'm a whore for plugging my merch. So at the end of every episode of his TV show, he plugs his stupid fucking podcast that he reads like 6 ads per episode on. What's the fucking difference? What is the difference between those two things? And just like, he's so fucking wasted. He's so proud of himself. He thinks it's so funny. Oh my God. Like, what do you do? What do you do? Okay. This next clip, this is also from Real Time. This is the episode with, he's doing an interview with Dave Barry, who is a genuinely very funny guy. On the episode, you're kind of like, oh my God. Dave Barry. I haven't read any Dave Barry since I was a kid. He's a funny guy. And this is something Bill Maher said about himself on the Ben Shapiro Club Random episode, but listen to this fucking shit.
Were you elected class clown of your?
I was more the class wit.
And of course, Dave Barry laughs because that's an idiotic thing. That seems like a joke. Like, I was more the class wit. He's being 100% sincere when he says that because he wasn't funny in school and everybody hated him.
The class clown would like throw spitballs.
No. But I was a wise ass, I will say.
A wise ass?
Yeah.
But did you do anything physical?
Never.
Well, then you were a wit.
Like, you couldn't have been the class clown because I was not the class clown and you're funny and I must have been. So you were like me. You were the wit. Oh, did you engage in the ancient art of clowning, the French art of bouffon? No? Well, then you were the wit. You were not the class clown. Like, Jesus Christ, man. It's embarrassing and it is weird. This next one, this is just purely embarrassing. He does the whole monologue. This is from a recent episode of Real Time. This one, I think, Alex Goldman was the guest. And he does the whole monologue without his glasses on. And I remember being like, oh, that's interesting. No glasses. Huh, okay. He wants to wear contacts. I don't fucking know. I just remember being like, oh, it's interesting. He doesn't have his glasses on. Goes over to do the interview. And as he's sitting down, he makes a discovery.
Good to see you. Oh, I forgot my glasses again.
I forgot my glasses again.
All right. I thought we were going to stop tape when I forgot my glasses. I get we forgot that note.
See, my eyes aren't that bad.
I thought we were going to stop tape when I forgot my glasses. And he's like, see, my eyes aren't that bad. Sir, you're the host. This is not dress. This is live to tape. You're doing this. I mean, you could have stopped it before. You could stop it right then. You maybe could have stopped. I guess they don't stop once they start. Like, you know, he starts the monologue. Somebody could have been like, oh, Bill, you don't have your glasses. He's like, oh, my God. They put them on. They bring them back out. That's not a big deal. You haven't blown any punchlines or anything. But, like, to then be like giving notes to your stage manager while the guy's just sitting there waiting to be interviewed. Just an old man who forgot his glasses. It's like Grandpa Simpson. Okay, this last embarrassing thing, this is from a very recent Club Random. Jane Harrison was the guest. And, oh, God help me. It's the episode with Marjorie Taylor Greene was on the panel, but the interview was with a guy who made a documentary about how aliens are definitely real. The entire one-on-one interview, it is being conducted under the assumption, well, you're stupid if you don't believe not only aliens are real, but they are UFOs that have visited Earth, you know, tall grays, shit like that. They probe us, they abduct us, they probe us. Listen to the question he asked this guy.
And there's also the theory I saw in your movie that possibly when these crashes take place, they're doing it on purpose so that we'll be able to absorb their technology, that we have found their spacecraft, possibly, and we will reverse engineer it so we could learn. Can you think of anything we actually may have learned from an alien crash?
How do you even answer a question like that? What's some technology we may have gotten from an alien crash? I don't know. LensCrafters, the store? It's you know what? That should have been in Baffling. That should be in Baffling. I think Andre 3000, that should have been in Embarrassing Moments. I put those in the wrong categories. They still definitely both belong on here. But like, what? This is supposed to be a serious show on television, and he is like, yep, Area 51 is real, and there's also the theory that aliens are crash landing intentionally so we can reverse engineer their technology? Why wouldn't they just give us the technology? It raises so many questions, and I really want to emphasize, buddy, none of them are asked. None of the questions you would want asked about, well, how could this be true? If this, well, why wouldn't they just do this? What are we thinking here? Why are we assigning human feelings and motivations to creatures that you're saying are able to break the laws of physics? None of those questions are asked. Okay, we're now into topic 5. So this is stuff from guests. It's I Hate Bill Maher, not I Hate Bill Maher's guests, but there were a lot of funny guest moments, intentional or not. These are just a few I wanted to highlight from the year. This first one, this is from an episode that was back in like January when this is from the one did a series on his 3 appearances on the Joe Rogan Experience. And my guest, good friend, very funny guy, Diego McCafferty. We watched the first episode of Joe Rogan that Bill Maher was on. And Rogan has an incredible take right here.
There's also an issue that you don't tell kids.
They're talking about porn and the detrimental effects porn can have on young men.
It's about it. So they find out from other kids. There's no discussion of what it is. There's no like real, like no one in their right mind would ever sit down and watch porn with their son and say, this is what I want you to avoid. Like, this is why I want you to avoid this.
Right.
But it's probably not the worst idea. I mean, look, there comes a legality issue. Like, I mean, I don't even think it's legal to watch porn with a 13-year-old kid. But if you have a son and he's 13 and you know he's going to be exposed to these things, you almost have a responsibility to talk him through it.
There is Joe Rogan promoting the idea of fathers sitting down with their sons and watching pornography. Now, if you want to raise a son that goes on to like where's your clothing while murdering women who come to stay at his hotel, that's probably the best way to do it. That would warp, I feel like that would warp a kid way more than them discovering porn on their own. Also, why can't you just talk to your kid about porn? Why can't you just be like, there are things you'll see in it like this? You can even get specific. They'll get uncomfortable, but whatever. But to be like, I mean, yeah, it's probably illegal to show a 13-year-old porn, but as their dad, you should sit down and be like, okay, you need a fucking big dick to really make that position work. Okay, that one's impractical. You got to have a lot of upper body strength. Okay, you don't want to just sort of go like blah, 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 and flick your tongue around all crazy like that when you're eating her out. You kind of want like a steady rhythm of sustained pressure. Like, imagine. Oh, fuck. I should have put that one last. That's my favorite one. Oh, no. You know what? Never mind. The one that's last is last for a reason. So this next one, this one's actually just kind of fun. This is, of all the clips on here, this is the one that I just kind of think is like, oh, this is just kind of like a funny moment from a guest. This is from Real Time. This is season 3. I think I watched David Roth talked about this episode with me.
By the way, I've met you many times, Al. Do you ever remember me?
This is Jose Canseco. He's doing a one-on-one interview about his book.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Where were we and what were we doing?
A party, a house party.
A house party.
Yeah.
Whose house was it?
I forget, but the
Yeah,
last one was about 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks
Some
ago?
girl slapped you in the butt real hard. Remember her?
Oh,
Some tall
yes.
blonde.
I
You
remember
went,
that.
What was that about?
Well...
So I really like that moment. One, it's like, it's a house party. And I'm sure it's just a, it's a fancy party at a rich person's house. But it is funny to imagine them at the party from Can't Hardly Wait. Which also wouldn't be surprising with these two. But just like, it's a rare moment of, it's like an odd, rare moment of like genuine, like personality and humanity from one of his guests who's like, just like, and of all the people, Jose Canseco to be like, yeah, it's just sort of like a normal moment with a guy. And it's Jose Canseco. This next one, oh my God. This is Club Random with Woody Allen. Woody Allen was there to plug his book. Woody Allen, sex criminal, nasty pervert, nasty creep. I don't even know if pervert's right? It's nasty creep. And he was there to plug his book, which he briefly mentions, but Bill Maher just talks over him. Bill Maher talks over him the whole time. Bill Maher is angrier, so much angrier than Woody Allen about the fact that Woody Allen's career is dead, because everybody's like, I don't really want to work with a guy who it really seems like he abused his daughter, and he married his partner's adopted daughter. Oh my God. It is insane to just say it out loud. There's all that stuff. Woody Allen's like, oh, no, they think they're doing the right thing. And Bill Maher's like, no, they're virtue signaling. But Woody Allen's there to plug his book. And Bill Maher doesn't realize it. It's just talking over him the whole time. Just telling Woody Allen, it's a classic Club Random thing. Bill Maher has a guest on so he can tell the guest about the guest's body of work.
Apropos of nothing, isn't that why we're here?
It must be. No, we were here because I have a novel coming out.
A novel?
A novel coming out in September called What's with Baum.
Okay.
And I was really here to promote the novel, but we never got to it.
Let's get to it.
No. I forced it in clumsily, but that's okay because it's not going to sell anyhow. So why waste your time?
I'm going to read it.
I know it is Woody Allen, but I talked about this episode with Andrew Moore. It really is a thing where you're like, you see an old man who's like that pathetic, you can't help but have your heart break a little bit, even though intellectually you know better. Because it's such a... Just like to be like, no, I was here to promote my novel. I tried to clumsily force it in, but he's like, no, we'll promote it. And that's how the episode ends. That's how bad this guy is at being a host, having a podcast. This next clip, this is from an episode of Real Time from, I think, season 3. Joe Scarborough is on the panel. They're talking about John Paul has just died, and Benedict has just become the new pope. So Bill Maher makes an odd joke, and Joe Scarborough follows it up with an inexplicable joke.
I guess I don't call him Ratzinger anymore. I call him Benedict. About Benedict.
Benedict 16.
I think so.
Sounds like a porn movie.
So why does it sound like a porn movie? Benedict 16? What is it, like Benedict? Or maybe it's just because it's, you know, in the old days, porns had a lot of, there were a lot of films in a series, you know? They'd go, you know, be like Jizz Juggers or whatever the fuck, 14 or something. But Joe Scarborough, he tries to riff off of an already kind of inexplicable joke.
I think there's going to be a porn site, Benedict16.com. In fact, go to it.
I think there's going to be a porn site, Benedict16, in fact. Go to it. Now, I think they'd been talking about porn sites earlier, maybe. I'm pretty sure they had been. Nevertheless, I think, like, realizing your joke is bombing and you don't know how to pull it out of it, so you're just like, go to it. He's a bottom-tier guest that they have on the show, Joe Scarborough. I really despise him. Okay, and then the last, let's get serious here. So he did a Club Random episode. I felt bad. We had Emily Heller on. You know, Emily, I could call her a friend. Had her on the show. I was like, do you want to do the show again? She's like, yeah. It's Club Random. Do you want to talk about Terrence Howard? We can talk about something else. I knew Terrence Howard was crazy and was going around asserting that he had developed a new math. I didn't know how, but I also knew that he had, like, assaulted a number of his ex-partners. I believe he'd also been accused of sexual assault. I didn't know how insane the episode would be. Listen to all this shit.
And I was talking about not the COVID vaccine, just me dealing with my children about, am I going to the vaccines to give them in school? And I was like, no, I don't want to give them the MMR and all of that because when
they don't need it.
So obviously, first of all, the idea they don't need it. What do you mean they don't need it? They're children. If I can't stress enough how bad it is if you get any of the M, or R, as especially like a baby. It's so fucking bad.
No, and when we were kids, back in 1969 when I was born, and they gave me the shot, it was delivered with duck embryo DNA. Then in 1970, when they got the abortion clinics, they started using human DNA. Now, the duck embryo DNA would not bond. It would deliver the vaccine. It would deliver the little protein that was necessary, but it didn't have any match to your DNA, so it would be taken out of the body. But because they're using human DNA cells from the abortion clinics, those now bond into our cells and try to bond with it. That's why we have all...
Okay, so, look, I don't think I got to tell anybody how unbelievably, insanely stupid and wrong that is. They're not using cells from the abortion clinics to, I guess, deliver DNA, to deliver vaccines. Also, the idea, well, we don't have the same DNA as, well, like, DNA is made up of all the same shit. We do have the same DNA as ducks. It's just not the same. But there will be similarities in there. In the same way, like, people have different genetics, even if they are on a macro level very, very, very similar. But he is saying all that. That's all gearing up to. He's saying that because we now have vaccines that use cells from abortion clinics, again, not true. They're now derivative cells that originally stemmed from. What? Listen, I don't have to. It's pointless to try to explain this shit in a situation like this. But because I'm not going to convince anybody. People either already will be like, "That's crazy," or they're like, "No, this guy's wrong." It's just a waste of time for me personally. Also, like, I can't get into the granulars if people really want to. That doesn't matter. All that to say, I'm pausing here so that he's saying that all of that has now caused a specific health problem in society these days. Take some time, take a guess at what you think it is. Countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here is what he is saying this is now causing.
The psoriasis now. Did you see that much psoriasis back in the 80s?
That's why we have the psoriasis now. Okay, I understand psoriasis is annoying. You know, nobody enjoys sort of, red, itchy, kind of like patchy skin. I'll be honest, even if this were true, which it's not, I would rather have psoriasis than measles, mumps, or rubella. I would. I think that would be. You 100% are like, this guy's going to say autism. That's what they all do. Nope. Psoriasis.
So she didn't look at me crazy when I first started talking about 1 × 1 = 2.
So he's talking about his wife now. You heard correctly. His wife now, part of the reason he loves her so much, she didn't look at him crazy when he started talking about 1 × 1 = 2. Take a second, think about that. We'll continue on.
And I wasn't talking about 1 × 1 doesn't equal
I read
1.
I read about that.
In linear math, you still can use the 1 × 1 = 1 for 1 × 1 to equal 1. And that's what I asked Eric Weinstein on the show. You never looked at it like an
way jumper.
No.
I don't know which one it is.
You never looked at it like an action times an action not having a reaction. For 1 × 1 to equal 1. And that's what I asked Eric Weinstein on the show. I was like, show me one place in natural phenomenon where an action times an action doesn't have a reaction. And I will say 1 × 1 = 1.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, but 1 + 1 = 2.
Mm-hmm. And what is it? What is multiplication but exaggerated addition?
What is multiplication but exaggerated addition? I mean, it's definitely not that. I don't know if somebody asked me to put into words the definition of multiplication beyond like, well, it's one number being multiplied by another number. And then they would be like, well, what does multiplied mean? I'd be like, ugh, I don't know. I guess we have to get into factors. But like, how often can you multiply one by another, by one thing by another one thing and not have a reaction? Bill Maher's like, well, that's true. It's like, what do you mean that's true? And I have to, on some level, I mean, I don't empathize with him because Terrence Howard is his friend. He's like, I'm so happy to have you here. He lets him lie about his many abuses. But like, we've all been stuck in a room with that guy who's like, well, you can't have a thing multiply by another thing and not have a reaction. And you're like, yeah, I guess you're right. Where's my ride?
I can do it.
The first thing I ever saw you in was Mr. Holland's Anus.
Mr. Holland's Anus? Opus?
Well, I saw the porn version.
No.
So they both love that. I include that. Just a couple friends having a laugh. They're so fucking stupid, these two guys. Okay. Now, this is going back related to, I guess, the math again. He's going to start talking about the fractal. So Bill Maher is afraid of death. He's terrified to die, which is where this is. Then that's why he asked this question he asks.
Ask any question that you've ever had about anything in the universe.
I don't know. I don't want to know.
I mean, literally, I'm
just
saying
I
ask
don't know.
any question that you've ever wanted to know about the fundamentals of how the universe behaves, and I have the answer because we have the fractal. So
I didn't include I should have. I should have put in the clip where he pulls out the fractal.
I mean, you can do it right now. Any question you would want. Any question about anything with it.
We're talking about pressure, the entire universe, and I've got one question. This will be a good movie. Well, let's see. I hate to be selfish, but how can I ensure, especially now that we have AI, and now that I'm almost 70, how can we ensure that I don't die? That's really the question that is most honestly on my mind.
And it's the easiest thing to answer. We have 5 elements in our DNA that make up our DNA: hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, oxygen. All 5 of these elements sit up and line themselves. And if you look at the legs of the DNA, not across the...
Yeah, sure.
If you look at the
I know
legs,
what you're talking about, the helix.
the helix is made up. This is where the phosphorus and the oxygen spits. I'm gonna hold up for a second. You will have one. You have one phosphorus waveform, and you have 4 oxygen atoms around it, wrapped around it.
Well, now
then
looks like Terrence Howard is angry.
No, I'm not angry. And then
they're going to steal that picture.
And then off of this oxygen, these legs will start to form. This is the DNA, how the DNA legs start to form up. And that's the ATCG. And that's where the carbon and the nitrogen, and it'll get over here, hit another oxygen that's around 4 of these. Now, when we're young, under this high pressure, we're tight and everything is really good and things work well. The resonance, we got to think that everything is moving with resonance. This will be over in 30 seconds. Everything is moving with resonance. So as the information is going over, but the older we get, the further we get from the center of our galaxy, we're in a more vacuous space. The wider the space, now there's more room. And so all of the elements that would naturally, the carbon and the nitrogen that would be not right next to each other, or the hydrogen, it's separated out. So other things have gotten in there. That's how we age. So all you have to do, take your prime resonant frequency, because there's a particular frequency that runs through your whole system, that runs across your fingerprint.
Okay, so
and you play that back to you under a compressed area underwater. Your whole body will tighten up. You increase the pressure condition. You don't have to die.
There you go. If you want to live forever, get underwater and play the life frequency, and it will retighten. That's all the Terrence Howard stuff. It's crazy. I can't believe he goes along with... I mean, I guess I can't believe he goes along with any of it, because he's also fucking has his head all the way up his ass. Okay. And now finally, we enter the last category of the year-end highlights. This is petty bitching. And of course, this is just him pissing and moaning and whining and being doing the stuff, honestly, that might, well, the racism will be what bothers me the most on his show. But this stuff is close because it's just like, it's so obnoxious, and he loves to talk about, he'll accuse other people of being like pussies. Oh, the pussification. He is such a fussy little baby. So the first thing, he went on Howie Mandel's podcast. I also talked about this with Jane. And at one point they start talking about white privilege. Bill Maher is like, I don't believe in white privilege. I think there's white advantage. And he loses an argument to Howie Mandel. It's fucking embarrassing. But at a certain point, he tries to backtrack and be like, well, I'm just about accuracy. I just want things to be accurate. Okay, I'm just going to play the clip. See if you notice what he does here.
So there is still advantage to being white. No doubt.
I'll buy your word. I'll take away privilege and use advantage.
No doubt about it. What I'm always trying to say is, let's just, first of all, get the numbers right. You know, let's not just pull it out of our ass.
Let's not just pull the numbers out of our ass.
I didn't pull any numbers out.
No. I'm just saying, but people do. They just have a feeling about it. I mean, if you ask the average MSNBC listener,
right,
how many unarmed black people do you think the police kill a year? They'd probably say 50,000 or 10,000.
But do they really have to have...
Don't just pull numbers out of your ass. Literally the next sentence, he is pulling numbers out of his ass. This one has been stuck in my craw ever since all fucking year, ever since I heard it. And we talked about this episode a while ago. This is so egregious. This guy is so fucking bad at this. He is so dishonest, also just stupid. This is fucking stupid. This is what a fucking stupid person does. A person who is incapable of thinking anymore. No, well, listen, all I'm saying is we just need to be accurate. Just don't pull numbers out of your ass. I mean, you poll the average MSNBC viewer. How many of them say, what's the number of unarmed black people they'd say the police kill a year? Probably 70 billion. Here he is on I think it's a TMZ. I think it's a joint TMZ LA Mag to hollowed out institutions, especially, LA Mag is the hollowed out institution. It's Harvey Levin and some other old guy. and it's called, I think, Two Angry Men. And Bill Maher went on right after he did the episode of Real Time talking about the dinner with Trump. Got a lot of backlash to it for very good reasons. And this is him. He's defending it. He's been defending it. He's like, I went in there. I talked to this guy. And listeners to the show will recognize the clips I'm about to play.
I'm proud that I confronted him when we talked about the orangutan thing, and I didn't apologize. I said, yeah, because I did that because you were making fun and mocking Obama's birth origins, and I thought that was low. So I should be a hero for going there and doing those things and saying those things to the president. I'm not the villain here.
I should be a hero for going to a fancy dinner at the White House with my good friend Kid Rock. Dana White was also there, some other old guy. And then doing a thing on my TV show where I talked about how reasonable he was at the dinner, how normal he was, how reasonable. I should be a hero. Guess how many other people he's guess the only other people he says are heroes are the troops. Nobody else. He doesn't ever call anybody else a hero. Just him and the troops.
It's astonishing to me that they kind of brought this upon themselves in a way.
No, and as I say, I should be a hero for being one of the people who got inside the inner sanctum and was able to say to this person who knows how much he ever hears anything that's not coming from the cult, and say those things and stick to my guns. And by the way, another thing that kind of pisses me off, the thing I did on telling the story of it was really fucking funny. It was a very entertaining 12 minutes. It was kind of gets lost in the politics.
It was
Wasn't
funny.
it, Harvey?
It definitely was not. You can go watch. They're not laughing. They're just clapping like the whole time. It's not funny at all. So here is Chris. He went on Chris Cuomo's show. Chris Cuomo. It's all in the clip.
Here's something that you may not want to talk about, but it's too bad we're going to. Looking at just a sheer metric of ratings, okay? You crush John Oliver regularly. I want to talk to you about Trevor Noah saying that he's going to leave The Daily Show. You crush his numbers. You do not get nominated the way they do for Emmys. You have, and you've won. We did the math. You've won, been nominated dozens of times, but not in recent years. And your audience is much bigger. I would argue your cultural cachet is much more vast. Why do you think you don't get the shine that they do?
I tell the truth.
What a fucking stupid asshole. He was on some Vox podcast called like The Gray Area or something, hosted by one of the most simpering men, just like a soaking wet little like, oh, please like me. I wish I did stand-up comedy kind of guys.
It's a bad place when you have to first service the ideology before the joke. That's something I will quit before I do that.
Well, I'm glad you went there. And look, I'm not here to pat you on the ass. You don't need me to do that.
Oh, go ahead, for fuck's sake. You do it off stage, but it's amazing. I'm always the love that dare not speak its name. Everybody tells me how great I am. And then when it comes to public, oh no, we better not say that.
That one is so dark because I would take that to mean people are being nice. They're just being nice to me. If people won't actually say publicly that they think I'm really funny, but instead, no, to him, it's like, oh, it's a conspiracy. People just won't admit how good I am publicly. They only say it to me right after a show or when I meet them in a social situation. So the last two clips are from the Fly on a Wall podcast with Dana Carvey and David Spade. The first clip touches on the Chris Cuomo thing.
Is it true you have 40 nominations but not a win?
Correct. And I think that really says more about them than me. But let's move on.
I blame Gurvitz.
Well, it's impossible to win now. You're the wrong
Demi
flavor.
Moore.
He's the wrong flavor, so I do want to get that in there. Dana Carvey seemingly implying Bill Maher can't win an Emmy because he's white now. You should go check out who wins Emmys. It's a lot of white people. But you heard, and just like that says more about them than me. Let's move on. He'll also say he doesn't care that he's never won one. Obviously lying. So you heard as well David Spade there mention Demi Moore. So they start talking about the substance. And Bill Maher fundamentally misunderstands the substance.
I get the idea.
I get the idea, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, it was making a comment about how we judge older people by their looks, and that's not right.
Applause,
so
applause.
So he's blowing his mic out, and that's because he's doing a thing where he's like, it's just virtue signaling. They just want to be like, it's wrong that we judge old people by their looks. Which is like a misunderstanding, because it's like, well, the movie isn't just about we judge old people by their looks. It's that we throw old people out. We have impossible to maintain beauty standards. And when people don't meet those, and also when people are just old, women, really, we throw them in the garbage. We get rid of them. That's kind of the whole deal here. Like, applause. Well, he's a guy who complains about ageism all the time. So you think that message, he'd be like, it's nice to, see. But he's so pervert-brained that his hatred of people correctly saying, hey, you suck now, and him being like, that's ageism, is overruled by the part of his brain where he's like, no, it's normal to be a 70-year-old guy who's obsessed with, like, 23-year-old women. I'm being generous with 23-year-old.
I get it. It's not right, but we do it.
And to me, that's all ass backwards because...
Like, it's all ass backwards.
If you were really mature, what you would understand is that life is a series of trade-offs. When you're young, you're stupid and beautiful, and then you get older and you get smarter and worse looking, and mature people.
So shouldn't he agree with the message of the movie? He fundamentally agrees with the substance then, that this is wrong, but instead he's mocking the idea. He's mocking the sort of themes and ideas of the film.
People throughout the ages and all cultures have just accepted that. Not us.
Not us, not Hollywood.
We have to be sexy until you're a million years old.
Like, he thinks, it's totally unclear. Is he saying we have to pretend like old people are sexy? Or is he saying like, we do everything in our power to be sexy? It's completely unclear what his point of view is on this.
And anyone says different is bad.
Blows his mic out again. So I really think he's trying to make the point that you're wrong to say. I mean, he's just like, he's just mad that people give him grief about the fact that he is, a fucking nasty. Thanks so much for listening. If you have thoughts, feelings about, I don't know, the clips from the year, I guess people can have thoughts and feelings about whatever they want. I don't know why you would feel particularly strongly about this, but if you do, you can send me an email, ihatebillmaher@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening. I really appreciate everybody who showed up and listened this year. If you're watching this somewhere, you can check out the rest of the podcast. It's I Hate Bill Maher. You can listen to that pretty much anywhere. And also if you have thoughts, you can call it 323 Kiln Rap. You can call and leave a voicemail, 323 Kiln Rap. Thanks so much, guys. And here's looking forward to a vastly superior 2026.